Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here. So this week we have 3 piles from the same deck. So what I've done is I've taken the same deck and I've divided it into 3 piles. And then when I was done sorting, I took the top card and I turned it over. Okay, so these were randomly selected top cards. Okay, so we have for pile 1, we have base chakra. Pile 2, we have firm foundation. In pile 3, we have trapped in fear. So the timestamps for each pile are going to be found in the description box in the comment thread down below. So you can take a minute if you want to kind of feel your way through. You can kind of look at the image on each pile to see if one resonates more than the other. And if not, if you don't necessarily resonate in that way, that's perfectly fine. You can always just randomly select a pile as well. So that's it. Okay, go ahead and take a minute, feel your way through, timestamps down below, and I'll see you in just a sec. All right, pile number 1, you guys selected base chakra. So we're going to go ahead and keep this card out as kind of the identifier. And then we're going to take this pile, financial and material changes, patience and planning, wisdom, and new beginnings. Okay, so clearly there's a lot of concern about your material world right now. Really thinking about next steps. Maybe you have some choices in front of you. Maybe some of you are a little bit in survival mode, really trying to figure out how you're going to survive, how you're going to make the next thing happen, how you're going to take care of yourself or your children or something like that. Others of you who are doing well and who have stability in your life may be really facing, big evolutionary moments, right? Like this is a moment in time. And I felt like that all through Saturn through Aquarius since the end of 2020. But now that we're really coming to the end of this transit with Saturn now in retrograde in Aquarius in the latter degrees, it's really like time to say, okay, well, if this is really something that I say that I want, and this is really something that I feel dedicated towards, then I really got to start making those changes. Now, one of the things that I've been feeling with this kind of Uranus North Node in Taurus situation that we're in has been that a lot of people have felt an extraordinary urge for change, but they're resisting it. Like, for example, let's say that you have a job, right? You have a job that you love or don't love. Either way, but yet something else is calling you. Maybe you're wanting to move somewhere to a new state or have kind of a new lifestyle for yourself. Okay? You say that you want that, and yet you stay where you are because you don't even probably have a really good reason why. So now with patience and planning, it really is about setting up that structure in a proper way that is going to set you up for some level of success. You know that you're reaching some kind of a breaking point. You know that this change needs to happen, but maybe you just haven't really felt ready because you haven't had the plan in place. So if you haven't had a plan in place and you're still feeling compelled to move in a certain direction, I highly recommend doing whatever you need to do structure-wise, okay? Whether it's moving money from one place to another, whether it's setting up the new place in the new town, or whether it's, whatever, and really committing to that and saying, okay, this is happening. And, you can still change slowly, but I think the change is the important part. And I do think that there are going to be funds moving, there's going to be money moving from one area to another area, and you're going to have to rededicate time and energy and attention to this new thing. You got new beginnings over here, which says, you are really in this new beginning type of place. You are and it feels like more of a confrontation. It doesn't feel necessarily like a thing that you are fully embracing. This feels like something that you're kind of dragging your feet doing. And maybe it's just the nature of Cancer season. Maybe it's Mars and Taurus. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's the intensity of this Capricorn full moon that's building up in the next couple of days, and maybe it just feels like it's overwhelming or it's a lot, whatever it is. But you also know that this is what it is. It is a new beginning, and there's really nothing you can really do about that. That just is what it is. And of course, you have the wisdom to really deal with that. I think that you are operating from a very wise place, which means you're dedicating that wisdom toward the plan and toward erecting the structure so that the transition can be smoother. I don't think anyone's looking for a tumultuous transition in their life right now. I don't know that a lot of people can truly handle that. I think people are looking for things to be a little bit easier, a little bit, again, smoother is that word that keeps coming to my mind. It's smoother, it's easier, it's more fluid, and it doesn't create any or a lot of chaos when that transition occurs. The waiting game. Patience and planning in the waiting game. Obstacles and challenges. It really feels that you know that there's a whole new set of mountains to climb, right? It's like one of those things where you climb to the top of the mountain only to realize that there's like a whole mountain range in front of you. You're like, oh, wow, there's really a lot of stuff. I maybe wasn't prepared for all this, This is why it's like slow and steady wins the race. Mars and Taurus, slow and steady wins the race. I know that where you're headed feels right, and the changes that you're making feels right, and the financial and material decisions that you're needing to make, it's worth the risk. It's worth taking a hit, I think, up front, because if what you're developing and what you're designing is going to be something good and something beautiful, then yeah, of course, it is absolutely 100% worth it. And of course, that. I think what you're building and where it is that you're ultimately going, it certainly is, there is a longevity essence to the whole thing. You're not just like quickly, I'm going to, move to Chicago, or, I'm going to move to Seattle. I'll just up and move. I'm going to move for no reason. And it's going to be, if it doesn't work out, I'll just move back. It's not like that. It's like, if you're going to pick up and go, like, this is a whole revision to your whole life. And so you better make sure that your ducks are in a row, And I'm using the moving example, but it could apply to you in many ways. Accelerated motion. Okay, so we have patience and the waiting game, but then accelerated motion. Slowly but surely, the speed of which this is going to really come through it's going to start to speed up. It's going to accelerate. And you're going to have to be able to keep up with that heart chakra. Oh, I love that you got two chakras coming out, base chakra and heart chakra. Because it tells me that you're aligned, that your kind of survival chakra here and your abundance chakra here are pushing you in the same direction. I don't think that this is a good time for you to second guess or to doubt yourself in any way. I really don't think that would be a good strategy, because that's going to put some stuff on halt that you don't want to be on halt. You don't want things to be resistant or hesitant. You want things, if they're not going to go really fast, at least they can, go slowly, but you don't want to push it backwards or have that level of resistance. You at least want something to be going forward. I'm really loving the quality of peace that I'm feeling with everything. I don't necessarily see a lot of stress or anxiety for you guys. I don't see that you have, a lot of mind games with yourself going on. It's just a matter of like, well, this is this and that is that. And It's all very dry. It's all very black and white. It's all very realistic. Thank you, Capricorn, full moon, just keeping us very grounded, keeping us logical and rational, because that's kind of the mindset that we're going to need in order for us to keep this plan in motion, albeit slowly, but at least it's in motion nonetheless. A lot of people are losing their motivation right now because the energy does feel very heavy for some people. It does feel incredibly burdensome. Taurus and Cancer doesn't always resonate with everybody unless you have a lot of natal placements there. This is not the easiest time. Some people, they want this go, 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 go energy because that's how they're wired. Maybe they have let's say a Mars conjunct Uranus in the 10th house or something like that's, or 9th house even, someone who's wired for electricity in their life. So if that's you, it's not going to be everybody that I'm talking to right now, but if that's you, just know that this is a slow down time. Jupiter is slowing way down in the sky, preparing for his retrograde. Chiron is going to be going retrograde on the 19th. So, there's just a lot of big planets in Aries, right? Specifically in Aries that are really slowing down. Plus Mars and Taurus, plus all the Cancerian energy. So things just need to kind of go at their own pace. You can't really force, you can't really control, and you can't really push. Now you can stay focused and check tasks off your to-do list and keep things going. That would actually be a really, really good thing to do, because then at least it ensures that something gets done and you're not working against yourself. Okay? Let's pull out some moon cards. Definitely this one. A personal issue reaches resolution. Okay, well, that's really good to know for those of you who are having some situations with family members, with coworkers, spouses, children, things like that. This is a promise that those things are going to come to a close this week, and that you'll find some kind of solution to the issue, or it will at least be tabled for now. And you can revisit it probably during the Mars retrograde later on this year in October. Now is a lucky time. Well, that's a great card to get, especially with financial and material changes, because sometimes you can lose your faith a little bit, when you are making moves and taking risks and kind of putting yourself on a mysterious path that you don't have a lot of reassurance that it's going to truly, fully, officially work out. You don't have that reassurance. You don't have that sense of calm or that sense of clarity. And so you just kind of have to trust. You just kind of have to have faith. So it's lucky. Things are going to work out. It's going to be okay. It's going to move in the right direction. It's going to grow slowly but surely. You're doing the right thing, all right? This reading is a confirmation of all of that, okay? All right, you guys, I love you. I hope you have an amazing week. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected firm foundations. So let's take a look at what comes out to support this card here. Hope, harmony. Well, especially for those of you who are in relationships, romantic relationships especially, but I know that doesn't always apply to everybody. So even if you have strong friendships or strong relationships with your parents, or strong colleague or mentor relationships, those are going to be really beneficial for you to lean on this week. Especially if you are kind of losing faith a little bit. We have this hope card, which tells me that it's okay to have hope. It's okay to be optimistic. It's okay to be faithful and to remain in that state of surrendered flow. Sacral chakra, intuition with sacral chakra, that's a beautiful combination there. there's not going to be a lot of rational answers for you this week, okay? This is not a time where you're going to have all the information, or things are all going to make sense, or the dots are all going to connect. That's just simply not how it's going to work. You have to be able to operate in this sort of deep divine feminine. I mean, like really deep feminine, receptive, surrendered place. That can be very scary, because our more masculine side, which of course we all have both, and the more masculine part of us wants the logic, it wants the rationale, it wants the knowing, right? So that it can take that information and compute it into something usable and to do something with it, right? The question is are you okay with just not really doing stuff right now? You're probably kind of in an autopilot type of mode where you have, your everyday life, you have your morning routine, you have your job, you have the things you do, you have your activities, you're doing all your things. And yet there still may be a big question mark in front of you of like, well, what is this all for? And where is this all going? And maybe it is a little bit existential. We just had Neptune going retrograde at the end of June. So it's possible that you're still kind of feeling the effects of that, and you're kind of feeling, that some illusion is kind of coming into a cold, harsh reality of some kind, but maybe you're not quite there yet. And maybe your mind hasn't had the opportunity to really wrap itself around something. And so at least you have something to lean on. And so the relationships in your life are going to be really important for you, just to hold space for you, especially if you are married, right? It's a great time for you to just talk to your partner, or maybe not even talk. Maybe it's not even about talking. Maybe it's just about like knowing that they're next to you, and that's it. And if you're single, right, knowing that you have a mentor or a friend or a parent that you can call on, knowing that they're there. Maybe it's just about the knowing. And knowing that also maybe not everyone else has it all figured out. I think you guys are in a place right now of really just seeking peace in your life, harmony, right? You're seeking firm foundations, you're seeking stability. Maybe you don't want to like completely overhaul your whole life. Maybe you don't want to like pick up and go and change a bunch of stuff. Maybe you're not in that place at all. Maybe you're just wanting things to be simplified, things to be easier, things to become more pleasurable, and there to just be more space for you to just be you. I think you are being guided somewhere. I think there is a directionality to all of this. It's just directionality in the more feminine way. So it's not a straight line. It's not like an actual path. Do you guys ever like watch TV shows, like binge watch a TV show? Like for some reason, I'm specifically thinking about the episode of Breaking Bad with the fly. I don't know if you guys remember that. There's always like in every series, there's always like that one episode where it gets all like really psychological and weird, and they like mess with the timelines, and there's like a dream state or a hallucination. It just gets weird, and the story is weird, and it's just weird. And you're like, what even is the point of this episode? It's kind of what I'm sensing right now. It's like there's a weird era, a weird chunk of time where things are not computing and things do not really make sense, and they're not necessarily rooted in your concept of reality, and yet they are moving forward nonetheless. It is still pushing the story forward. You just won't necessarily understand it till like 6 episodes from now, Okay, what else for pile number 2? Material and spiritual prosperity in shadow. This is like the moon energy, okay? So this is like the star, this is like the moon. And I like the moon with the intuition or the high priestess energy here. I really like that combination because again, it reinforces the feminine qualities that are at play in your life right now, but they're still leading to prosperity. You know, sometimes people feel like the feminine energy can't lead there, that that's not what it's really all about. But, you know, you ask any eccentric artist, you know, who's like all in their mind all the time and all in their feelings, what it's like to sell a platinum record. You know what I mean? Like who's to say you can't? Who's to say you can't succeed materialistically with that approach? I'd say that there have been many, many, many examples of people who break those rules. So you're still on a path toward prosperity. You just don't really understand the path because it's not really how this world normally works. You're just not playing by the rules. We got temptation. And deception and envy. There are qualities of wanting to control, but I think that is the, you know, deception, you know, that there is something even to control here at all. You know, I don't think that there is. I think that it's more about letting go of control. It's more about losing control and really delving into your creativity, delving into even your sexuality for some of you, and allowing yourself to fully surrender and to fully give in. Sometimes I look at this devil card, which is the temptation card. Sometimes I look at this card and I feel like it represents so much about how restricted we are as human beings and how much we strive to portray certain things. It's the explicit curation, you know, the way we curate personality traits for certain things and certain people. And some people work through that and they reach a level of authenticity. But even when you reach a level of authenticity, you then realize that even that isn't even really you, right? The real you is so far beyond any personality trait whatsoever. And so there's kind of like this feeling fake almost all the time. But I get a sense that you're coming into a quiet time in your life where you're just tired. You're tired of portrayal of any kind. You're tired of projection of any kind, tired of judgmentalism, tired of criticism, tired of, what is it? Just tired of thinking. You're just tired of thinking anything about anything. You're just like, I'm over it. I don't want to think anything about anything. I don't want to judge anything. I don't want to have an opinion. I don't want to have an emotion about anything. I just want to continue on in my life and just be. And I don't want to overcomplicate it with all the things that overcomplicate it. You know, it's just not going to work for me. So in this process, I do sense that many of you are going to be reaching new levels of simplicity in your life, which is going to be great because there's going to be a lot of happiness that comes from that. And there's just not a lot of overthinking, which means this material and spiritual prosperity can actually come in a lot sooner and a lot easier. Let's pull out a moon card for you guys here. Adjustments are required. Probably some behavioral adjustments or adjustments in terms of things that you're giving attention to that you no longer should be giving attention to. And that's probably pretty obvious to you what that is. I don't know that I need to sit here and explain or try to give you examples. I think it's pretty clear to you in your life what you really shouldn't be investing in anymore. And I say you're going to be withdrawing your investment in something pretty soon. Because again, you just don't have it in you. It's just not there. I don't see my high priestess doing that much. I see her just kind of sitting in the temple, sort of just convening with God, or you're communing with God most of the time. I don't see her doing a lot, you know? And so I think your life's about to get easier now. Okay, let's pull out an animal spirit, finish off the reading for you guys. The bee spirit, sweet results await. Oh my gosh, with the material and spiritual prosperity, with hope and harmony, that's kind of a promise, right? That's the card saying, look, it's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. You're going to have everything you want, everything you need. The money will be there. The people will be there. The pleasure will be there. The fun will be there. It will all be there. So enjoy this process. This is an amazing opportunity for you to write firm foundation to completely restructure your life. Full moon in Capricorn, conjunct Pluto. The sun coming into a trine. I was going to say a square, but it's not square. Coming into a trine with Neptune. Right? Sun in Cancer, Neptune over in Pisces. We get to dissolve these things that just simply aren't really a part of us anymore. Okay? All right, you guys, you know how much I love you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. You guys selected this card that says Trapped in Fear. So you're probably drawn to that because you're really dealing with something, or really at a standstill or at a halt with something. Oh, my camera just decided to stop focusing. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so then we have the solar plexus chakra. Victory and success. Rest and rejuvenate. Partnerships and alliances. Okay. The question is, do you have a good reason to feel trapped in fear? Because from what I can see from these first 4 cards, what you probably just really need is just a break, right? You just probably need to take a step back and breathe and just kind of allow yourself some headspace to reassess your perception on things and to reassess the prioritization of certain things, because chances are the reason why you're feeling the stress or whatever is because you've prioritized something and made something super important that really should not be at the top of the list in your heart, your gut, which is one of our main intelligence centers, right? We truly do operate from gut feelings, and your gut is telling you hey, this is not where you should be investing time and focus right now. The thing about Mars in Taurus with this Capricorn full moon that's happening in the next couple of days, this is a brutal dose of reality for a lot of us. Just hey, wake up. This is not important. It is not relevant. It is okay to cut this out of your life. It is okay to sever the things that you are totally dispassionate about. It is okay to eliminate the things that just aren't working. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And that word eliminate is super important for this full moon because it is conjunct Pluto and the sun is in a trine with Neptune. Okay, so it's a sextile moon over to Neptune, and a trine sun over to Neptune, plus the moon conjunct Pluto. So when we have Pluto and Neptune energy together, it's just I can't see anything making it past this point if it's really not meant to be in your life. So there is a message of victory and success here for you, meaning don't worry, it's all going to work out great. It is 100% going to work out great. You are going to succeed. You are going to have the money. You're going to find the house. You're going to find that relationship. You're going to find the job. You'll find all of it, and it's all going to work out. And sometimes people take those kinds of messages and they're that's a little too general. It's a little too generic. But, I don't always say that. I think sometimes things... Well, actually, no, that's not true. I do always say that. I do always say that because I'm such a firm believer in I read this in the book, Zen and the Art of Happiness, where the basic premise of the book is no matter what happens, it's always in my favor. And so I think where you are now, it's in your favor. Cutting things out, it's in your favor. Eliminating things, it's in your favor. Partnerships and alliances tells me that there are people in your life, connections in your life that are extraordinarily beneficial for you. that there are people that support you, people that love you. There's a great deal of abundance there, new ideas, new creativity, new opportunities. All of those can be found in certain partnerships and alliances. And it may be, and I'm kind of like looking at this like kind of grip like this that these two hands have, and that's usually like the kind of grip that someone has when you're like pulling someone out of like a hole or something, you know, so you can really get a good grip on them. And I'm wondering if someone may actually like be pulling you up out of this trapped in fear situation. This could be a best friend just being a cheerleader for a couple days, like, come on, you can do it, you know. And it may be, you know, someone financially helping you out with something like, hey, I know maybe you're struggling a little bit. Here's, you know, $1,000 to help you out, or whatever it is. Maybe that's something. If someone is handing you cash, or if someone is giving you a lifeline, please do not have the pride, right? Please take it. It'll make your life so much easier. It will make your life so much easier, and it will help to eliminate the immediate fears that you're really dealing with. Okay, we have actually, I'm not doing any reversals, so I'm not going to put the reversals, but we have triumph with victory and success, and now we have triumph. There is a quality of upward mobility for you guys. See, rejoice and celebration. See, I absolutely do not in any capacity see any reason for you to worry, all right? This card seems very inconsistent with the rest of the reading so far. Like, really, really inconsistent. This is probably just something that you've concocted in your mind that's totally not real. I don't even know what else to say. It's just totally not real. So you are going to be experiencing movement. Now, Mars is still in Taurus, so it may be slow movement, but I think as the sun moves into Leo near the end of July on the 22nd, that's probably when you're going to start to feel that movement the day after Chiron goes retrograde. We do have Chiron going retrograde, and Jupiter is slowing way down. So, you know, and we're building up to that Uranus North Node conjunction. So I think there is this kind of like feeling that we're waiting for something, and we don't even know what the heck it is we're waiting for. But I'm telling you, what you're waiting for is something good, so it's worth the wait. Prosperity begins. Triumphant success. Holy cow. I had a feeling that not a lot of people were going to pick this one, because a lot of people don't really want to admit that they are like afraid. Right? They're like, I don't want to pick that. That's bad energy. But look at what happens when you acknowledge that you're dealing with something. Look at the power of what happens. Victory and success, triumph, rejoice and celebration, prosperity begins, and triumphant success. I don't think it gets better than that in any capacity. Okay? There is going to be, you're going to be winning. You know, it's all about winning. Now, prosperity begins is likely associated with this particular partnership. You know, whether this person inspires you, like, for example, if you do have to loan money from someone, you know, it's going to inspire you to get yourself into a better situation, so you not only can pay that person back, but so you can also support yourself. Now, it may not be a financial transaction for most of you. It could just simply be, you know, a piece of advice. And if that piece of advice ends up being a lifeline, it could send you on a whole new trajectory in your life that begins solely as a single seed that is planted in your heart. I believe that your partnership and alliance is actually the delivery system or the delivery mechanism that Spirit is using to inspire you towards something that is meant for you in your ultimate destiny, if you will. See, this is an ace, so it's kind of like a, it's just a potential. It's not necessarily like a reality quite yet. So there is like a chance that some people won't really embrace this, or they won't recognize it. See, the way you recognize this is if it never goes away, right? Like if you have a seed that's implanted in your heart and then it never goes away, it's not going to go away until you do something about it. And this is a time to not only have the seed implanted, but then to also do something about it right away, so you don't waste time hemming and hawing and being wishy-washy and indecisive and whatever. And I don't know. What does my intuition say? I can't tell. Let me go contact an astrologer because I need some answers. No, you already know. You already know it's for you. It's just sometimes you need to admit that to yourself. Sometimes you need to really come to grips with the fact that this is what your soul just wants, and there's really no way to refute that. And so you just got to kind of roll with the punches and just let yourself move in that direction. Now, I'm not saying you have to be irresponsible and take unnecessary risks, okay? You can still be smart about it, but you're going to have to do something, though, nonetheless. But you will, and you will succeed. Okay, so let's pull out a couple of, a moon card to start, and then we'll do an animal spirit to finish off the reading. A new romantic cycle begins. Okay, well, I love that for those of you who are looking for romance in your life. So a new romantic cycle, you get to start fresh. Now, not everyone is here for romance. Some of you have been married or are in established relationships, and that's great. Maybe the relationships are changing, right? The feelings between the two of you, there's kind of a new birth or a new beginning for the two of you to kind of take your relationship in a new direction. So that's going to be great for all of you. All right, and then we'll do an animal spirit. There is always enough. Maybe this is a scarcity thing. You feel there's not enough money. There's not enough romantic people. I don't connect with people. I'm never going to make the friends. I'm never this. I'm never that. I'm never, never, never. If you catch yourself in that kind of thinking, immediately stop. Okay, I'm thinking of that Justin Bieber TikTok audio, right? Immediately no. Immediately no. I've seen what I needed to see, and no. Right? I've seen what I came here to see. No. You have to be able to cut yourself off from that scarcity mindset, because the universe is promising you the success that you desire here. Okay? All right, you guys, beautiful reading for the week. You guys know I love you. I hope you have an amazing full moon, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.